Howdy, Matthew Pizgatti here. I'm going to give you a quick overview as to what the DRIP BUSD garden is. So if you're already invested into that or you've already been playing the game, feel free to hop off. Not relevant to you. But if you are just now looking into the garden, you may have some questions. So maybe this quick overview will help you get those answered and decide which direction you want to go. Remember, not financial advice. Nobody on YouTube is really offering that. We're just offering our opinion on these protocols, and for me personally, I'm logging my journey through video as well. You know, if I make a whole bunch of money, that's awesome. If I get completely wrecked and lose it all, you guys can laugh at me, and we get entertainment either way, right? So that's the fun process. You have to do your own research on these protocols. Now, these videos are part of doing your own research. This is great. You should listen to multiple YouTubers. That's a great first step, you know, and people who are writing blogs and articles on Medium, you know, look at any of those crypto-related articles to the protocol that you're wanting to get into. Look at all those sources. Look if the protocol has an official Telegram or Discord. Discord's usually better. There is a Telegram for Animal Farm. It's insane. There's like 60,000 people in there. But there are some smaller telegrams where you can also get more consensus from people, ask people who are already in it, you know, what they think and what they've been doing. Read the white paper. That's part of doing your own research as well. Most of these protocols have a white paper. Click on it, read through it, see what it offers. All that being said, we can get back to the content. Just wanted to remind you that you really do have to research these things yourself. Now, in making a video that is more of an explanation, I also am going to go ahead and state as like a caveat that I don't just shill random projects. I don't promote them to try to get referral links. I don't really care about that. It is a great way to say thank you to the YouTuber, whoever it was that introduced you to a platform, to use their link, but that's not what I'm doing, because if I'm not in it, if I'm not invested in it, I'm not going to talk about it. This is one that I am kind of excited for, along with the others that I talk about. I think there's still a lot of potential. I think we still have a huge potential to make a lot. But all that being said, this is a higher risk game or protocol. It says that probably in the white paper, or it may on this page as well. It's more high risk but high reward. You can get up to 3% return daily is the idea here. You can get up to that 3%, 3.3%, somewhere in there daily. Now, how do they achieve that? Well, for one, not everyone's going to stay in this protocol and play it the right way. Stay in the game, I should say. It is basically a game. You exchange on this DRIP Liberation page. You put in the amount that you would like to submit, and then you can transfer that into the LP token. It's going to give you DRIP BUSD liquidity pool token. It's a pair, so you can change any of these tokens into that and get your DRIP LP, your DRIP/BUSD LP, and you can take that and buy plants with it. For instance, if I were to use the 3.369 that I have to buy plants, I would get about 56 plants worth. Now, how does the game work? How do you win or get to a point where you can harvest more funds out than you actually put in? If you're playing it correctly, basically you want to be aware of all of the mechanisms that drive the price of a plant. And then also you need to understand when the price of a plant even matters. Now, a single plant right now is worth about 0.057 LP. Now, what's going to happen with that is that every day this is going to decline. There is a decay, is what we've been calling it. So every day this is going to drop by a certain amount. Now, what helps drive that is the contract balance, as well as the value of DRIP BUSD, the LP token that you converted to. And this is how much 2.592 million seeds are worth. So that's the other portion of this game. You're exchanging the LP for plants, and then every plant that you have planted drops seeds, and each plant makes 86.4 thousand seeds a day. and you need 2,592,000 to make to recompound into a plant. Now you could sell as many seeds as you wanted to. You could be halfway between a plant, whatever. But compounding, you have to compound in whole plant numbers. So that's one way that you could play not strategically. If I were to compound right now, for instance, I have another 44 minutes to go until my next plant, 43. I would lose 875,000 seeds. So that puts me behind a little bit. How else can you get behind? Well, there is something built into the mechanisms of the mechanics of the game where if the average user in the system, so the average user, their ratio of harvesting to compounding, if they're compounding way more than you are, then you're not gonna. Then if they are compounding way more than you are, you're not going to be making that full 3%, 3.3% a day. So that is another way that this game rewards those who are compounding more than harvesting. You have to be on par with the average player, the average user in the system. If you're doing below that and not on par or better, then you're not going to get the full rewards per day. So that can kind of put you behind on your goal to make however much you wanted to make. So that can affect it, and then the price of DRIP can affect it, which I've made a lot of videos as to why I'm bullish on DRIP. I have a lot of faith in the project going back up from where it is. I think a lot of people are waiting for some very opportune price points, and we're going to see it rocket up after that. That's my prediction, not anything you should count on or believe. You should do your own research always. I'm sorry if I'm a little distracted. There's a tornado warning, I think, right now in my city. Oh, that's some strong winds. I will be right back. I'm just pausing. This isn't a live video, so I'm not sure why I'm narrating. I'll be right back, guys. Oh, and I'm back. Okay. I got to get better about pausing the videos before I keep going. I have this stream of consciousness. I'm just putting the information out there, and I get kind of going on a roll, so sorry about that. But yeah, we are back. And when we're talking about the decay that's built into the system, those are all the things I like to make clear, is that they're based on contract balance, it's based on time spent in the system, and it's based on the price of this DRIP BUSD, the LP token, which is in turn based on the price of DRIP. So keeping all that in mind, we can see that yes, we can and could and have the ability to compound at a rapid rate. You know, this starts snowballing really quickly, and I'll show you that on a calculator in just a few seconds. So we can start compounding this and just snowballing to a really high degree to outpace the decay. We can outpace the level of decay that we see where this decreases once every day. Now, right now, in the current state, we are not outpacing decay because of that decline, but that's okay if you're bullish in the system and the DRIP ecosystem as a whole. The partnerships that are coming down the line, you like the developer, you like what he's been working on, what he has in the works. If you're confident on all of that, then you would assume or like to predict that the DRIP BUSD price will come back up. When that starts to happen, it starts swinging back up, you're going to see the contract balance come up as well, because all those people who were kind of afraid and selling off or getting out of the system, a lot of people may have just abandoned their gardens if they decided it wasn't making anything, and really bad for those people if they've not been compounding this whole time, because when DRIP comes back up, they'll be behind, and they could have been sitting really pretty. So that's my prediction. We'll see DRIP USD come up. Contract balance will come back up as a result. As long as you've been compounding, your LP should stay relatively steady or go up. I have seen people report that theirs was dropping, their daily LP, and I think that will happen if this DRIP BUSD doesn't stay really steady. So like the last month where it was just this downward decline, your LP probably was dropping per day, even with all of your compounding added in there. But this is one of those long-term projects. If you think it's going to swing back up, the DRIP ecosystem, like maybe you're already in faucet and you have a lot of confidence in DRIP as a whole and in the animal farm, then this might still be a really cool buy-in for you. But here's my calculator, which I have videos going over how this rough estimation works. It's a very rough estimation. But let me just throw in some numbers. I'm not going to go over how to use it right now, but I do have some other videos linked in the description alongside the link to this spreadsheet. So what, we're at about 2473.057. Let's say I compound 4 times a day. All that does is drive this, the gas estimation. And I'm at 650 plants, but I want to show you with a higher bag, because a higher bag limit. Like if you bought in, say, like 1,000 plants right now, here's where your compounding comes in. Now this is showing if I compounded once per day. So if you are hitting it 4 times a day, every plant that you put in the ground that you recompound starts dropping its 86,000 per day. So if you drop it in, if you compound, say at noon, at the halfway point, that plant will still generate half of its amount of seeds for the remainder of the day. So that's important to note, is that this rough estimation of compounding doesn't take that into account. You'll actually be seeing a faster compound rate than what this is showing here. But yeah, so your 1,000 plants after just 30 days of compounding turns into 2,500. 90 days out, you are at what, 18,000 plants? And so you can see with my conservative estimate of decay, if I'm estimating about 1.5%, which is around where it should be if this isn't dropping every day. It should be like 1%, 1.3, 1.6 maybe, is really the amount of decay we should see. And I think it's even less when the contract balance is heading up. But it's going to be at least 1% a day, most likely. I think that's the time decay bonus, bonus for those buying new capital, like buying new plants, but negative for those of us who already have plants. So you can see pretty quickly where that 1,000 plants where we're at is about 46 a day. But then, 90 days out, I'm looking closer to over a couple hundred that I could harvest per day. Now, for those of us who like the system, we think it's going to come back up. Let's say I'm back to DRIP's all-time high, which is somewhere around this 39.40. You can see how that compounding actually gets us, if the DRIP price rises that direction, then we're over what, $370, $400, something like that after just under 100 days. But it really depends on that DRIP price. We're going to have to see that come back up to be making a lot of profit. So that's a really good overview of the garden, though. That's basically what we're looking at. Is we want DRIP price to go up. I think once that swings, we'll see the contract balance go up. Both of those things help to stave off the decay, as does compounding multiple times a day. Unintentional rhyming there. So I like this. I like the drip garden, and I've got the link down in the description if you want to give it a try, if you want to toss some in there. I will say, especially with this current rate of decay that we've been seeing, that you would really have to have a larger amount of plants to start with. And I'm not sure what a good number would be. I would play with some different numbers in the calculator, because when that decline is at an all-time high itself, like when we're just dropping and the LP estimate is dropping, and if this percentage starts looking higher, it looks like it's like 2.2%, and you only have, you buy 50 plants. Like, I don't even know if we're seeing an increase. I guess a little bit once we hit a certain point. But you see there's a decrease at the beginning. Let's say we had 30 plants. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. You're not going to see much each day. And because of the decline in the drip price that's been happening, it's increasing that rate of decay. It looks like it's higher. It's not when you average it over the long term, but it looks like it. Whereas if you have a large number you can throw in there, even with a higher rate of decay, it still takes more for you to get behind, for you to look like you're losing. But a lot of people do look like they're losing right now, and I think that's just part of it as well, because this LP, the drip price, has been falling. But this would only be a good investment. So this would only be a good protocol to enter into if you could throw enough plants at it to start with. Maybe even as least as much as I have, maybe 400, 500, whatever you could throw in there. A little less might be okay, but your compounding is slower at the beginning. and understand that it's not going to look like you're making any profit. You won't be able to harvest. You'll have to compound, nonstop. I'm not nonstop, but you'd want to compound a couple times a day, and then, it might take some months to, if drip swings back up in that time period, it'll take some months, but then you'll have days where you're able to start harvesting. You'll be able to start harvesting. And you still have to keep your compound. Remember, you have to be over the average user in the system, compound to harvest ratio. So you'll still have to be compounding a lot, but then you could harvest, say, harvest 1 time a day, compound 4 times a day. Or say you harvest on Saturday and Sunday, and then you compound the rest of the week multiple times a day. That's where I'm looking to point at. That's where I would orient towards once I have enough per day. So when this swings back up and I'm seeing over 50 a day, maybe 100 a day, that's where I'm going to try to start getting some harvests in. Also, another quick number, quick little shortcut for you to think about plants per day. Every time you get 30 plants added, so whether you're buying 30 plants or, for me, that's about 1.5 days I can get 30 plants in, that adds 1 to my daily plant. So right now I'm at about 22, let's say. If I throw 30 plants into the ground, I recompound them, then I'm at 23 instead of the 22. So that's kind of a quick shortcut for you. Every 30 plants you add is another plant per day. And that gives you a good reference as to what you might need to outpace the decay and, how much you'd be making in 30, 60, 90 days, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's a pretty good overview of the garden. And it really just, like I said in the last video I made, it depends on sentiment a whole lot. So whether you have faith in DRIP as a whole, whether you think the ecosystem's going to come up or whether you don't, no one can tell you what you should believe without you doing your own research, and you decide where you put your money. It's your money. There's a lot of low risk things that you could put it into like banks giving you 1% a day or some type of mutual fund, hedge fund, whatever. Go put it in your 401k. There's a million things you could do that might be a little safer. All of these games and protocols are high risk, and the drip garden claims to be high risk more so than the faucet, which gives you the steady 1% a day. So just keep all that in mind. They call it high risk because there's so many different levers, mechanisms that drive the price. But if you're compounding regularly, which means like once a day at least, maybe a couple times a day, and if you think drip is going to come back up in price, then, and you like the dev and you like the updates that are coming and the partnerships that are upcoming soon for drip, if you like all of that and you have a positive sentiment, I think this is a good investment. I think this is like something, I hate to call it an investment. It's a game. It's a game that could make you some money. And it may not. The whole thing may have some we don't know. That's why it's like the Wild West out here in the decentralized finance space. So I'm shilling this project because I like it and have a lot of faith in it, but it doesn't look very profitable right now, and I think that's to be expected, but it's normal reasons that it doesn't look good right now. It's not because of some crazy snafu in the system or the developers stealing money or anything like that. It's just drip is down because some big whales cashed out. They'll probably invest back in at a lower price. And there's a new launch. The version 2 of the Pigs credit is the Pigs token is about to happen. And so some of the farms are paused while that transfer happens. And this is other parts of the animal farm ecosystem. So people are probably a little hesitant to add more capital into the garden right now. They're probably waiting to throw them into their time lock for the Piggy Bank. But, that's another reason we'll start to see a swing back to drip and the faucet, I think, is when they start making more profits off of this, they'll put it back full circle into the whole ecosystem. Like that just makes sense to me to do that. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions at all about the drip garden, what it represents, how it works, anything I missed. Hop in our Telegram group that I have linked as well. If you have any questions for me directly and you don't want to talk back and forth in a YouTube comment, sometimes I miss those. So Telegram's always better. And then in Telegram, I can also link to all the other Telegram groups that would be really helpful for you. Like if you're not in the Drip Garden Telegram group, or the Animal Farm, or Drip Rocket Science, that's Kelly Snook's group. Really good, smart people over there. Awesome support. I can link to all those for you and help you out. And if you like the content, you appreciate it, this has been helpful for you as a new person looking at the garden, hit me a like and subscribe. That'd be totally amazing. I appreciate all you guys who have been following already. I don't know why you would have made it this far in this video, because you already have all this information I've given a number of times. But if you did just for the fun of it, you're appreciated. You're awesome. I hope everyone has a great day, morning, afternoon, night, whatever time it is in your area of the world. Hope you're staying safe. I've obviously got some like tornado sirens or something going off here in Texas. I guess it's just that time of year. The warm air still hitting some of the cold fronts, trying to win out for spring. But happy spring equinox to everybody if you observe that or know that that just happened. And again, I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and thank you for your time.